Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another beautiful evening here in Tropics Only Esports. We are your casters, Quetzalcoatl, and the man himself, the man with amazing prowess and ability, that's right, Dr. Bovine Basher. Doc, how you doing?
I am doing all right tonight. Managing a little bit of everything today. We're just about to get started here in draft. I think we're going to see draft from both sides. We're sorting out a little bit of a player issue. Um, but once we get that sorted out, we will start draft just shortly. But what do you think of tonight's game tonight? Chocolate Thunder versus Wildcats.
First and foremost, it just goes to show the creativity some people put into their names. Chocolate Thunder, obviously, an homage to Chocolate Rain. And also, Chocolate Thunder is what's it called? A reference to the Cat in the Hat movie. I don't know if you knew that.
Uh,
And
what?
yeah, the one with Mike Myers, the Thing One, Thing Two, and Thing One didn't want to be called Thing One. He wanted to be called Chocolate Thunder.
You know, even as much as I've read Green Eggs and Ham and Chocolate, or you got me saying Chocolate Thunder now. Green Eggs and Ham and Cat in the Hat in the back of the day. I did not remember that.
No worries. Exactly. I don't know why it surfaced in my memory. And Wildcats' simplicity at its best, perhaps we don't know, but I'm excited. I know these teams are heavy hitters. You know, all teams in TPO esports are heavy hitters, so I expect a very back and forth match, and no holds barred type of deal.
Yeah, I'm looking out and seeing how some of these picks are going to go. I don't know exactly what everybody is going to pick. I know a little bit of what Wildcats has picked. Edwards is a very strong top laner and top side. Some of these faces are a little bit new to me from Chocolate Thunder side. I think they've had a different few people, but Um, I think we're in for a couple of really good games tonight. Hopefully we get to see three of them, but we'll have to see exactly what is going to happen. Let me see if I can solve this issue.
No worries, absolutely. I'm assuming on the Wildcats team, they actually have a brand new ADC. So this will be the first time a Smuppet will be debuting as the Wildcats ADC here. But other than that, everyone else is the same on the roster. Like you said, Chocolate Thunder probably have a few new faces. So we'll see who has the quicker synergy making skills, as one would say.
Yeah, I think right now we're just waiting to see
Both
where
people
this.
are ready.
Both of them are ready. We're just waiting on the start of draft. I think everybody, as long as everybody else is good to go, we are ready to get this started. We'll see what the first few bands and everything is going to be here.
Alrighty, it's looked like it has begun. Now, we'll see what the teams will be focusing on in terms of bans. Like you said, Edward Reformed is a very strong top laner, so they may very well start to ban. Oh, no, of course, the infamous Zed ban. I'm assuming they're banning because the Wildcats mid laner, lesbian Zed, happens to have the name Zed on it. So why not? Just for the giggles, I'm assuming.
Yes,
But they are. Go ahead.
yes, definitely have seen that name, or that name is going to invoke a little bit of a Zed one trick nature. Sometimes some of us do it as a way to throw people off. As is noted, I am Dr. Bovine Basher, not an All-Star one trick, and never have been.
Now, Wildcats have gone ahead and used their first ban on Warwick. There is a player on Chocolate Thunder that has a lot of games on Warwick, and Warwick is a very strong jungler and top laner, more of an annoying top laner. Chocolate Thunder are responding with a Garen and Blitz, and an MF and Aurelian Soul from Wildcats. So they are targeting very powerful picks between the Garen and the Aurelian Soul. Garen banned toward Edwards Reformed, and Aurelian Soul in general is just a very powerful scaling champion. Dr. Bova Basha, do you think these champions being taken out, I'm gonna assume there are very powerful champions in the hands of certain players. Do you think this is gonna matter in this case?
I think we're gonna have to see what Wildcats has developed to play into that. Strong first pick jungler on the Wukong, taking that away from I believe who's a jungler? Their
It'd be
Psycho.
Psycho
Yeah,
Ghost. That's right.
I shouldn't forget Psycho's name. He used to play on Argonauts, but Psycho definitely has showed a lot of prowess on that Wukong, been able to make a lot of effectiveness on it. So a good steal from Chocolate Thunder, not giving anything away, but I think all of Chocolate Thunder's bans have really been the strongest picks for their prospective laners. Maybe not the Zed, but the Zed being the one trick, you're gonna ban that out. But definitely Garen and Blitzcrank have been Scotty D or Edwards and Scotty D's best picks this so far this year.
Now, Wildcats have chosen their first pick to be Graves. This could be a Graves jungle. We're gonna just make an assumption it's Graves jungle. So they are changing gears here for their jungle picks to be a potential carry and a Caitlyn pick right after. So we do have a duo ADC in this game so far on the side of Wildcats. It's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to do the rest of their draft. Now they're going to have to set up their team to be able to succeed now that they have two ADCs on the side of Wildcats.
Yeah,
Uh,
dub,
Za- Go,
double
I'm sorry, go
ADC,
ahead.
double ADC coming in. You see Caitlyn really gonna be, depending on what support she's paired with, can be a very big lane bully. I know a lot of people we've seen on the other side. Milio is unlocked for today's game, so we're gonna maybe see some strats with that Caitlyn. Could just traditionally go to the Lux or the Morgana, either one. See a Zaya and an Annie coming out from Chocolate Thunder, and both again really strong picks. Zaya's safe, can dodge a lot of ganks, has a lot of damage with those feathers on the ground, and Annie's AoE stuns are always devastating.
Now this could be an Annie support, as for some strange reason Annie as a champion has been an ebb and flow whether she goes mid or support. But now lately in the last couple patches she has been opted to be a support Annie. So this could be a very powerful bot lane with Xayah and Annie layering their CC over each other. And now in response, Wildcats have chosen Morgana, so they're trying to negate any sort of CC whatsoever on the side of Chocolate Thunder. So a little bit of good planning on their part on the Wildcats.
Yes, very strong lane with a lot of CC. If you get hit by the Morgana binding and you don't have any tenacity, you are going to get hit with the Caitlyn trap, and it is a very large burst of damage. You can be behind by quite a significant amount, and still, if you layer the headshots correctly with Caitlyn, just one tap any Annie or Zaya on the field.
Now, the Chocolate Thunder team have begun their second round bans, starting off with Jax. This is a ban to take away from Edwards Reformed on the side of Wildcats. He has shown a little bit of a preference to playing Jax in the last couple of games, and Wildcats are rounding out their second ban picks with Rakan and Aurelia. Rakan, ensuring that the lovebirds aren't put together in this case, so they don't are not at their full capacity on the bot lane. Aurelia, because I'm
Ooh,
assuming Aurelia has a lot of difficulty in encountering, if your champion pool is not large, and
I
I'm
think
assuming this is going to be a Dyna mid here. They're
no.
fanning away.
Diana banned away. You could play her mid. I think Frosty might have been playing, or not Frosty. Lesbian Zed has played the Diana mid once or twice, but we see the Syndra pick up. If that Annie does go mid, she is going to be heavily outranged by that Syndra, even though it's just a scaling game. So for her, and we do not see a pick in the fourth spot. We'll have to see what Chocolate Thunder puts there. Sometimes it bugs out and it doesn't let you pick something. It has happened before.
It may be Helmet Bro, the newest champion in League of Legends. Just kidding.
And
Oh,
we
it is an Ari.
and we see Ari. Ari has been quite a big answer into the Syndra, gives a lot of dive potential and good wave clear into the Syndra. And Darius going to be a blind answer into Wildcats. I don't know what Edwards has in his bag of tricks, but I think he might have an answer for that blind Darius. Is a
Uh,
strong.
Yeah, Edwards is, believe it or not, a very back in the day, a very big Darius players. So he may have. a pick or two to counter it, and he has responded
Oh,
with a Pantheon top. So that may very well be a decent answer if he's able to survive the early game.
we did just see this. I don't know who, if you're watching, if anybody who might be watching this game today. I don't know how many people are going to be watching both of these teams, but we did on our other games going on right now, TPO Choosers versus TPO Mutant Atomic Superman over on the main channel. Pantheon got picked by Aztec War Priest, and he was terrorizing the ADC on the enemy team.
I can
Re-
imagine.
All right, and we see like we're going to. I don't know. Who do you think is going to be um have the advantage in this draft?
Currently, I do see an advantage on the side of Wildcats. They do have a very big ability to catch a single target and blow them the heck up. So there's no saving them. But at the same time, Chocolate Thunder does have a very skirmishy team fight. So depending on who gets caught first, we can see perhaps Wildcats taking out a very strong target on the side of Chocolate Thunder, and that takes away their team fight prowess. Perhaps Chocolate Thunder is able to control the tempo of all the team fights, and Wildcats will just have to survive and see if they can recuperate if they lose a couple members in those fights. So
Mm,
I'll give it to Wildcats because I do enjoy the single target blowups, but a good team fighting comp is always a way to go.
I think a lot of this is going to come down to how effective the Wukong and maybe the Ari can be at getting initial picks. I think if they can get on top of priority targets and blow them up, the Syndra, the Caitlyn, they definitely are going to have quite a bit of damage. Not really a meatball tank on either of these teams, so I am going to say I'm gonna give it to Chocolate Thunder. I'm gonna give them a chance. I believe that they have the tools to pull this off, the tools to win this game, and I think I'm gonna give them game one as far as winning
Oh,
draft.
interesting. Well, I do enjoy seeing two teams trying to see who can perform their comps better. Wildcats with their duo ADCs and Chocolate Thunder with their duo assassins. So hopefully we can see who is better at picking off the priority targets first and the fastest. So as always, Mr. Dr. Bovine, we can go down each lane and kind of talk about who is at an advantage and a disadvantage in each lane. Starting with the top lane, Darius versus Pantheon. What do you think about that?
I think this is gonna be more of a skill matchup. I might give it probably 55-45 to the Pantheon, but I think Darius, if he plays it right, saves his E for the right times and trades into the Pantheon the right way, he has the potential to win those skirmishes and those fights. But I think in the 2v2, which is really going to be important here, I think the 2v2 is going to be heavily favored in Chocolate Thunder. Wukong's passive cannot be understated in those fights.
It's very true, very true. Healing while fighting is almost like a set, but better looking. I'm kidding.
Um,
Uh, so going from the top lane, we can go down to the mid lane. It'll be an Ari versus a Syndrome. What do you think about that? I know you've said before that Ari does have advantage here.
as having played both of them, Arya's advantaged in the fact that she can both push the wave, and her dash and charm at level 6 gives her the ability to play around Syndra's abilities. Now, Syndra does have range stuns, so she has good setups and stuff, but it's not quite the same thing as what Ari brings to the table, just sort of the roaming capacity and other stuff like that. So we'll have to see, how they get out of lane and what they're going to do from either side. But I think I'm going to give it Ari favored.
Alrighty, now going down to this very interesting bot lane, both having the ability to catch and layer CC on top of each other. Xayah Annie versus Caitlyn Morgana. What do we think, Dr. Bovine Basher?
I think it is you Wildcats has drafted a very lane dominant lane here with the Caitlyn Morgana. Any binding on either of these targets can mean death or at least a very large loss of HP. And that really makes this lane difficult to play for them. They're going to have to show that they can survive the lane and get out with enough CS and be under pressure. Wukong can obviously affect this because I believe Caitlyn Morgana is going to push this lane heavily. It's sort of a Caitlyn thing. But what we're going to see is that how do they survive? How do they maintain their HP? How do they survive those individual lane pokes and other things like that while they're in the lane?
Absolutely. And finally, going straight to the jungle, talking about it last, because it always has an effect on any of the lanes. Wukong versus Graves. Let's talk more of the early game. Who do you think has the advantage here?
Early game, I think Graves with his passive, his armor passive and stuff like that. Wukong has something kind of similar, but not exact. His range and his ability to skirmish with those melees and his smoke screen, I think, gives him the advantage till level 6. If he hasn't gotten probably one, maybe two kills at that point, I think at that point it shifts and Wukong is going to have the advantage with this big AoE engage with Cyclone.
Absolutely. Well, with that out of the way, uh, Doc, I think we can take about a minute break here and get the games loaded up. So we'll be seeing you guys after the countdown of Spectre delay. So until then.
All I do is work, hustle, grind, hard. I ain't never gonna stop, nah. All I do is work, hustle, grind, hard. Level up until I drop, yeah. Independent grind, got no A&R. They used to tell me I would never make it far, but this vivid vision in my head is razor sharp. So much weight on my shoulder, I'ma raise the bar. Cincinnati flow, watch me crack the code. Sick and savage mode, might just catch a cold. Count my money up, yup, on my Casio. Give me a bag of dough and I'ma bounce, adios. Everybody know what comes around goes around. Middle fingers up when I feel broken down. My ribs are touching, I can hear my stomach growl. Make no bones about it. Yeah, I've been sleeping on a bed of thorns. I can see the exit door. Take me out this mental ward. Check the weapon drawer. Life's a checkerboard. It's time to settle scores. That ain't just a metaphor. I be rocking my shows and I pop the cork. Got my pockets on swole, cause my profits soar. Better lock your doors, cause I'm like the god of war. Ripping out your rotten core. Y'all are fake across the board. Y'all too savage. I keep it moving cause I got flow. Trying to dodge every pothole. I'm a rapping version of Picasso. Invest everything that I got, so I chip in my cheese like nachos.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back after the short break here at Tropics Only Esports. We are here with Chocolate Thunder versus Wildcats. And so far, it's looking like both teams are gonna meet down here in the bot lane. Doc, hopefully we see some explosive action here.
Yep, that's looking like that's what we're gonna see.
Do they face check or do they drop a ward? It's looking like they're about to go in. Oh, and Dark Biden does go down. The Panthea getting pulled in with the Darius pool, and unfortunately Darius goes down. No, it is the Wukong. Wukong goes down, and first blood going to Pantheon. That is going to be a very crucial kill going over to the Pantheon, who's probably going to have a very big damage advantage in the top lane. That's quite unfortunate on the side of the Wukong, giving that advantage over to the Pantheon of all people.
Yeah, we see this advantage for the Pantheon really gonna start showing up. I think giving him any kind of gold, and I will say AT at least did not burn any of the summoners, and Pantheon without a teleport could find himself pushed out of lane to the Darius, but that extra longsword is going to mean quite a bit for that kill.
Absolutely. However, in trade, the Pantheon is missing all of his spells now, with the Caitlyn missing her flash. So if Chocolate Thunder are savvy and quick about it, they can probably get a gank or two in before those summoners come back up and even out that advantage that the Wildcats have procured in the early game.
Oh, early gank.
Oh, and we see a level 2 gank with with the Graves and the Pantheon. They're both trying to kind of kite the Pantheon right now. Both of them poking him out from range. Can they finish him off? Oh, with the flash from the Graves. Unfortunately, the Darius was able to hold on to his flash until the very end, and he lives with barely a smidge of health left. But since he does have TP, who will be able to come back? And it would be as if nothing ever happened. Hopefully, he does not. Well, hold on here. The Morgana and the Caitlyn are able to get the Annie right down, dropping a ignite. They weren't really respecting that distance there from the from the Morgana and the Caitlyn. That is unfortunate. Another kill goes down to the side of Wildcats. Doc, the early games is not looking so good for the Chocolate Thunder team.
Yeah, definitely seeing a lot of action here early. 1K gold lead already on the side of Wildcats. Putting a lot of early pressure in this top lane. Darius trying to fight out the Pantheon, but
We see the Graves that came in and gave him a little bit of moral support and is able to get a kill on the Darius finally in the top lane. It's looking like the Wildcats team kind of know exactly where they want to put their resources. They're giving a lot of kills over, a lot of attention over to the top laner, Edward's Reform, knowing full well that if he has the advantages, he will be able to carry them to victory.
yeah, they understand right now that their bot lane doesn't need help. They are pressuring on their own. Syndra, Ari, not really going to be a matchup that's going to get a lot of
Oh, the
effects.
Arby does miss her charm onto the Graves. The Graves able to pick up the scuttle, but the Graves has turned around to fight the Ari, but the Ari just simply walks out. That was quite an interesting attempt from the Ari to see if she could interrupt that jungling there, but ends up losing a lot of mana and HP in return.
Yeah, I think really right now they just need to slow the pace of the game down. They're going to be pressured in these lanes with the way things have gone. Pantheon having the advantage, I think now is able to pressure the Darius out. Wukong just needs to find the lane to make a gank in, get someone ahead, maybe attack the Syndra, get her flash burn so Ari has a little bit more room to play. We're going to see a little bit of a skirmish here from Pantheon and Darius. And Darius actually might end up... Whoa, my God. Darius just dives to the Pantheon.
That's quite unfortunate, yeah.
I might have to take my statement back earlier where I talked about Darius might be able to outplay these. That damage, wholly unexpected on my part.
Absolutely. The Pantheon Q does a lot more damage the lower you are, and Darius was hoping that he could survive that trade with his passive and Q, but unfortunately Pantheon does have a lot more upfront damage than the Darius does. And so right now, Pantheon in quite a very strong lead, 2-0-1, and almost 10 CS over the Darius. Right now, for the side of Chocolate Thunder, the top side is their weak side, so the Wukong does have to decide where he wants to go. Just Me Juice, where will he have to go, Doc? Where do you think the Wukong needs to be going to kind of balance out this discrepancy here in this game?
I think he needs to attack bot lane. Bot lane is the one that has the pressure. They're pushed up. We see what looks to be like Ari and Wukong starting to rotate. No, going to be spotted out. But see good play from Psycho here, understanding.
Oh, the Wukong is trying to go in onto the Caitlyn right now, but they just back off, and we have another trade in the top lane. Pantheon taking another kill off of Darius. This is quite unfortunate indeed. Edwards Reformed taking the advantage he was given in the early game and just running with it. Currently in the mid lane, we do have the Syndra and the Ari going even. The Syndra having an assist over the Ari. In my understanding of this the way that the game's going right now, Ari and Syndra going even is not optimal for the Ari, isn't it, Doc?
No, that Ari definitely needs to get out and get an advantage somewhere. She needs to hook up with Wukong and affect these side lanes. We see a large CS gap in bot lane developing just because of the pressure that Morgana and Caitlyn are putting on the Annie and the Xayah. Shorter range into these abilities that they have, and they need some help. And unfortunately for Darius needs help too, but he is going to have to survive on his own and just try to catch as much experience and as much CS as he can. think bot lane is going to need to be affected first.
Absolutely. In regards back to the mid lane right now, Lesbian Zed, even though her Zed was taken, the fact that, wait a minute, the Morgana gets a binding onto the Annie. The Zaya is trying her best to push off the enemy team, but thankfully she was able to push off the Caitlyn and the Morgana, opting to back off of the fight and get some vision in the tri-bush. It's looking like the Graves is now starting to drag, and that's probably why they backed up. They didn't want to chance anything. But my goodness, that like you said, that is an incredible amount of pressure that the Annie and the Xayah are gonna have to deal with. As I was saying before, the first streak does go to the side of Wildcats. My apologies. Thank you very much, Doc. And a very important one too with the Fire Drake, right?
Yeah, first strike being taken at 7 minutes means we potentially could see a soul point just past 20 minutes. You know, and with the advantages they have right now and getting an early Drake, well, binding on Xayah.
Almost Caitlyn a little slow with the trap. That is almost was almost a kill. Had the trap been a little faster, but right now Lesbian Zed responding with happy feet, dodging the binding and everything that come along, and Wukong finally going top, trying to get that shutdown off of the Pantheon, and Pantheon having to W and flash. Wukong flashes in return, finally gets that ultimate right on top of the Pantheon, and Darius getting a shutdown in return for all the deaths he has given over to Pantheon. Oof! Binding hitting the Xayah, and Caitlyn getting a W auto right on top, getting her second kill of the game.
Yep.
Doc, this is quite unfortunate. They were able to return a kill on top, but the bot lane is just pushing further and further ahead of Chocolate Thunder's bot lane.
I think they had to do something somewhere, and they've done a little bit. Now they're just going to have to do more around the map. See a fight starting here on Rift Herald.
Uh-oh, we have the Ari almost going down to the graves. The Chocolate Thunder team are able to pick up the Herald, but are they able to walk out? That is the question. The Syndra is slowing the Darius right now, and a humongous Syndra ult right over the Darius, putting him further behind, just kind of knocking that kill that he received out of the park. Right now, he's just going to have to survive. Hopefully, with this Herald that they just picked up in the river here, they will be able to drop it somewhere and get some sort of gold back. But the way that the lanes are going, it's going to be hard to drop it and ensure that it hits a turret.
Yeah, right now the problem, there's just bleeding everywhere. You know, they've done a little bit to try to get the Darius back in the game, but a good counterplay from Wildcats, sort of shuts that avenue down. And even though they get the Rift Herald, there's just too much bleeding going on around the map. Too many people need help right now. And even there's a CS gap now, Ari into Syndra, because Ari is trying to join up with the team and help out, but she's missing out on quite a bit of farm compared to the Syndra. And with the better scaling comp actually being on, I think, Wildcats side, it's not looking good. You had to win the early game, and now that they're behind, it's going to be difficult to get back in it. But they're going to have to capitalize on some mistakes that Wildcats is going to make. We know that.
Well, we have here Darius trying to do his Darius thing, but under his own turret, but it gets poked down really low. The Pantheon just poking him out. Pantheon looking for a spear, but misses. And at the same time, we have Syndra just letting Ari know that she does not care what she's all about. Pokes her down with the Morgana flashing onto the bot lane. Manages to get her R right on top of them. Caitlyn taking one, and Morgana almost going down to the Ari, but has a just a perfectly timed stopwatch ready in response just in case. And Ari getting really low. The Syndra just comboing on top of her, and Ari is forced to go back with the Graves jungle here in the bot lane to ensure that there is no response from the Wukong. The Wukong does show up anyway, and Graves and the Wukong are duking it out right now. Wukong forced to clone, and Wukong backs off the... Oh my goodness, the Annie is trying to take out the Caitlyn, but the Caitlyn just manages to utilize her first purchase to take out the Annie. 1, 2, and a Q, and down goes the Annie. The bleeding has just gotten worse and worse. I don't think even cauterizing the wound at this point, Doc, is going to save Chocolate Thunder.
I think we're not going to give up on them yet. We've definitely seen teams get down this far. I mean, this is a little bit early, but mistakes can be made. You can make plays. You just have to see what they can do. And we have to... Ooh, big stun onto the Ari. We just have to see really what they have in store to recoup some of this gold. You know, they have the Herald. Where can they put it? What can they do? Are they gonna see Wukong coming up for a gank top now?
Whoa, the Wukong going straight onto the Pantheon. The Pantheon was trying to trade onto the Darius, but he wasn't watching the map, and Darius manages to take out the Pantheon with a humongous overhead ult. Pantheon goes down with his second death. Darius picking up a kill, and looks like that Herald is going top finally. They're able to find that space to drop it, Doc.
Spot to get some gold back, you know. And like I said, they have to do something. You can't sit around and be idle. If you just idle, you're just going to continue to lose. So we're really relying on Just Me Juice to sort of get something going with this AoE engage in Cyclones. He's got to, you know, affect the map somehow.
Now we do have. Yeah, go ahead.
We see 5 turret plates going down in bot side, and it looks like they're about to take 5 more off of mid lane onto this Caitlyn. That's 4 of them. I think
we do see the Syndra did TP bot side. It's looking like Wildcats are trying to prep Dragon Take. Yep, we have the bot lane and the jungler walking toward it. That's probably why the Syndra went bot side with her teleport to push in that bot lane to force Chocolate Thunder to respond. They are starting it now. They have denied a lot of vision, so Chocolate Thunder has to walk in blind. Oh, a stun onto the Ahri from the Syndra. Ult on top of her. Oh my goodness. And the Caitlyn almost takes down the Annie. The Annie was trying to drop the ult on top, but Morgana was fast enough with the black shield. Whoa, the Graves manages to slow and ult on top of the Annie. No, the Xayah gets caught by the Syndra. Syndra stun and another kill to Graves. An unfortunate 3-0 going to the side of Wildcats. The top laners transitioning mid to hold it down, but unfortunately in this case, the game, this part of the fight is over. So right now, all Chocolate Thunder can do is trying to stem the bleeding and not lose any more resources to try to stay in this game. Doc, wow, that was a crazy fight there in the river.
Yeah, just Chocolate Thunder has to understand that with as far behind as they are right now, they can't walk up and contest that dragon if they're not there first. They have to set up a trap. You know, you have to look for picks on the side lanes. You know, I don't know how used to they are from playing from behind in these sort of scenarios, but
whoa, the Wukong tries to get some of his jungle back, but the Graves and the Caitlyn, the duo ADC says, no, sir, you can just go ahead and go. The Ahri's trying to poke out the Graves, but the Graves manages to smite. The Chocolate Thunder team are hovering their bot side, their bot side jungle right now. The Graves just think of, whoa, the Darius flashes onto the Pantheon. He's trying to get something out of it. Hopefully he can stack up his passive onto the Pantheon. Pantheon recognizes this and starts trying to kite. Whoa, he misses his flash over the ball. He's able to get a kill. No! The jungler is there just in time. Just Me Juice manages to put down the damage and get another kill onto the Pantheon. Pantheon's lead looking like it's not as big anymore, but he already has his first mythic item, which he has opted to be Duskblade rather than in a Eclipse, excuse me. And the Graves just challenging the Ahri. The Ahri is forced to ult, but Graves just backs off after that. Trying to push in the lane. No, he does not care, and he backs off once more. I guess that was just for the lane push here. Whoa, a flash onto the Ahri. The Ahri has to force a flash as well. This Graves is playing mind games with the Ahri.
Yeah, we see maybe a little bit of wasted time down there from the Graves. Graves should be up here at this Herald fight. Maybe he doesn't feel he needs to. Morgana hits a binding.
Whoa! A steal from the Wukong. The Wukong unfortunately goes down for it, but he does get the Herald. It's only 2 down for the side of Chocolate Thunder, but they do get the second Herald, which means that they do have an opportunity to get even more gold somewhere on the map, since they do have objective bounties for each objective that is on the map.
Yeah, I have to say, Quetz, I think maybe this game might be one and done already. As we see a Pantheon just going to blow someone else up. And he gets a stun on him, but doesn't affect it enough. Caitlyn able to Gale Force in, get a kill. I think really the game might be over. Just giving up too much in the early game from Chocolate Thunder has, you know, Wildcats able to pressure them properly and stuff like that. And I think we might need to see, you know, maybe what's going on in game 2, you know. I think we might have to move a little bit past this, you know. 14k gold lead at 16 minutes might be a little bit insurmountable.
I completely agree. They took down 4 towers and 2 dragons within the 16 minutes. I mean, I've heard of miracle comebacks, but it would take a very disciplined and steady team to slow down the tempo of the game and trying to find resources to put towards their carries. But right now the carries are just way too far behind on their prospective opponents on the side of Wildcats to be able to do that safely, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I think right now we just need to maybe look past this game. Try to block it out of your mind and do what you can. Don't give up on the game. Don't quit fighting. But you got to start thinking about what can we do. What can we do in game two? How can we draft a little differently? I think they did get a little bit beaten in the draft, but you know, either way. You
I
play
mean,
do you play any of
absolutely.
these champions as like, a main champion on your solo queue adventures there, Quits?
Absolutely. I do enjoy playing nearly all these champions. The only champion I actually don't touch are Xayah and Syndra. But I do enjoy seeing Graves played in a competitive scene once more. He does have a very strong early game, and whoa, binding onto the Annie and a Caitlyn ult right on top, but the RB manages to block. There is an entire group going towards the bot side. The Syndra is kind of caught off from the team right now. Are they looking for the Syndra? No, unfortunately, they are not looking for the Syndra because their support gets caught out. Excuse me, not support. Their mid gets caught out, and Wukong tries to ult right on top of the Morgana and the Caitlyn. But the Caitlyn has to have a black shield. Unfortunately, the Wukong is not able to do too much, but the Caitlyn manages to spit out the damage again and again. But the Pantheon manages to come in with the ult, and Xayah does get cut out with
Ooh.
another binding, and a giant comet spear just takes her out. My goodness, and we have a split pushing jungler in the top lane. The dragon is up, but I guess the ADC in Psycho Ghost is just screaming in him to split push and get more more resources on the top side.
Yeah, I think right now the goose is cooked. I think there's a little bit of wallet smackage going on right now. Just too much gold in the pot.
No, like you said, no worries. A kind of a reset of the mental going to the second game. The Chocolate Thunder can use this as an opportunity to see where exactly they want to set their mindset and what their planning should be. Getting a top laner that can survive whatever Edwards Reformed spits out. A comfort pick. Being able to find a jungler that is able to support the team, even if that jungler is behind. Stealing champions away from a team is well and good, especially if you want them to be kind of laid back. But it's hard to do that when a team is used to that happening. So currently, right now, we have the third dragon going to the side of Wildcats. Doc, with that being said, what do you think a good plan of action could be for Chocolate Thunder?
I think we've seen that Just Me Juice and their top laner have been able to play out effectively. So maybe try to put some bans on the bot lane, try to give them safe options. Something where they can just survive. They're not really gonna get like bullied quite as hard, and see if top lane can carry and get him ahead earlier. Not really give up the huge lead we've seen early. That's really put them in such a bind.
Absolutely. Sometimes these type of games really should set you perspective on what you need to be doing. Getting yourself there rather than try to prevent your opponent from getting there. If you know what I mean. Right
Yeah.
now, the Wildcats are just pushing their advantages. Both the jungler, excuse me, both Psycho Ghost and Edwards Reform is just emptying out Chocolate Thunder's, jungle every time they're walking through. And as you can see, the Wildcats are pushing their vision further and further into the Chocolate Thunder jungle. So eventually, Chocolate Thunder won't be able to even leave their base.
Yep. Just consume the resources. Chocolate Thunder is gonna need to imitate some turtles right now. They're gonna have to.
Whoa, a binding onto the Xayah, but the Wildcat team has to back off. But no, it doesn't matter. Whoa, a Caitlyn ult and a
Oh
Graves
my
ult to lay
god.
on top of each other. But the Syndra just manages to catch the Darius and ults right on top of them. Darius unfortunately blows flash, but goes down in return. All three inhibitors on the side of Chocolate Thunder go down. Whoa, the Xayah gets caught by the binding. Thank goodness she has the ult that kicks her out of the game. But no, the Caitlyn does not care. She goes right on top of the side. Whoa, the Wukong tries to respond with a humongous ult, knocks up everybody, but unfortunately he has to go down as well. And the Syndra almost gets taken out. And the Ari and the Annie almost take out the Pantheon and the Caitlyn. The Caitlyn goes down. Oh, the post mortem ult from Annie takes out Caitlyn. But will that be enough? Darius comes in. It's looking very juicy. There's a lot of members on the Wildcats team, less than 10% health right now. Will he be able to do something about it? No, he does not. The Pantheon manages to stun and block his ult with his E, and yikes, the Ari goes down once more. The Xayah finds a kill onto the Syndra. They're just playing with fire at this point. The Wildcats team may be overextended here. They're still going back and forth. Do they end the game here? No, they do not.
I think not. I think they successfully held on. Chocolate Thunder has it cost them a lot. Oh,
The Wukong is still going. Will the Morgana be able to walk out? He smites. They both smite each other. Oh,
and the binding.
The Graves sends out a warning cue to the Wukong to let him know what could have happened if he hit his Q properly. But unfortunately, he does go down to the Graves.
Yeah,
this is
can they even stop the minions? I mean, we have 2 more waves coming in top and bot. And Morgana's still hanging out around here. They're getting swarmed by the Annie's traps. The minions have her surrounded.
Holy moly, Wildcats super minions are Caitlyn to take out the Darius. No, Winions, stop, please.
Winions beat their ass. Winions beating some ass.
Oh, the Annie flashes on top of the Caitlyn. The Caitlyn does use their cleanse to get out of that. The Graves manages to pick up the Annie. The Ari and the Wukong are trying their best, and they manage to assassinate the Caitlyn, but they have to utilize all the resources. And unfortunately, the Nexus does go down as the Super Minions were just in the side, trying to end the game before any more can happen. And the first game goes to Wildcats, Doc. Holy moly.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wallet diff there. You know, I hate to see the first game of the day be like that for us. You know, this is the last series. You know, maybe not the last series to finish, but the last series to start of the regular season. You want to see Chocolate Thunder and them go out on a high note, and you know, gotta see a little more fight from them on something like this. You know, just giving up too much damage early. I don't think their draft was definitely bad enough to lose that hard early. Just a few too many mistakes cost them in the end. And Wildcats, congratulations on them for transitioning to such a large lead. You know, never giving them time to catch their breath. The Pantheon trying to bully the Darius. The Caitlyn Morgana showing why it's such a dominant lane.
And absolutely. If you look at the damage charts here, there's not really one outstanding champion on the side of Wildcats that is just, you know, they did you know, more than the other. It looks like the whole team was just on it. Whatever fights they were in, they were spitting out the damage that they were needed to. And look at this. Other than the Graves, all of them were spitting out almost the same amount of damage, and that is crazy. The amount of synergy and planning that probably went out in this game number 1.
Yep. Game number 1, definitely something I want to see Chocolate Thunder really show up for game 2 and give us more of what I believe they have in them. You know, show up and give us a fight. You know.
Absolutely. Better planning with the banning and the picking. I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot putting a Annie support in the bot lane and not banning the Morgana as a response to that.
Yep, definitely gonna have to see what else they can do in this game too. We're gonna go to a break before champion select here, get things set up for game number 2. And we'll see you all back here in just a moment.
See you later.
Try your luck and take a chance. Before the risks in this moment, take my hand and break my heart. I'll never walk this road again. Stumbling steps, road to a dance where things change forever. There's no reason
right, everybody, welcome back. We're just about to get into Champ Select from Game 2. Saw Wildcats really make a huge impact in the early game on Chocolate Thunder and, won some stuff in draft. So we'll have to see how they adapt from Game 1 to Game 2 in this Game 2 between them. What do you think we need to see from Chocolate Thunder to make those adjustments that they need to have more success?
As we were discussing before, Chocolate Thunder needs to focus on not pushing back Wildcats, but more of allowing themselves to get ahead. Stealing champions away from the other team is all well and good to try to hinder gameplay and all that, but then what you're doing is you're putting yourself in a position to try to transition in a position to try to play this other style that you're not really comfortable with or you don't want to do just because you want to take away from other player rather than playing something that you'll be comfortable on regardless of the state of the game. So Chocolate Thunder really need to focus on giving themselves champions that they want to play on. And right now, draft is going and ban phase is going so quick. Both teams already know what they don't want on the map, Doc.
Both teams giving each other no time to think. We are skimming by this draft. I'm just going to call out all the picks. Warwick, MF, ASOL, Wildcats on blue side, this time banning all three of those. And Chocolate Thunder are going to ban Zed, Caitlyn, and Garen in that order. Not really liking that Caitlyn in the bot side. As we saw, Smuppet had great success on it with the Cape Morgana lane.
Absolutely.
And Shaco.
I'm going to pretend that's most likely a jungle Shaco. Wildcats just throwing whatever on the wall and seeing what sticks, and hopefully the
as
I just got DM'd.
As someone who knows that Shaco is as someone who knows that Psycho likes to play Shaco, I gotta give it up to him. Play it if you want to. See what you can do with it. Don't definitely think Shaco's a weird pick, but if you can make it work, you can make it work.
I mean, absolutely. You have to make sure that you're not just picking it into whatever random comp. You got to make sure it fits.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want the Shaco to be sticking out like a sore thumb in a siege comp.
So AP Shaco or AD Shaco? Which one do you think we're getting? Bets now.
Oh, AD all the way.
AD Shaco all the way.
Absolutely. Anything else is just trolling.
I don't know about that. I like me some Mage Shaco. Get me some hats and some staves and maybe a burn mask. I love it.
Absolutely. Chocolate Thunder responding with Xayah Wukong. They're really sticking to their guns here, making sure that Xayah Wukong are taken away. Well, preferably the Wukong taken away from Wildcats, but Wildcats chose Shaco, so this may be comfortable picks after all. And Wildcats choosing Ashe and Blitzcrank for their bot lane, Doc. I don't know. This is not as oppressive as Caitlyn Morgana, but I feel like this is still a little a little feels bad man type of deal. And Aurelia comes through. Whoa, Wildcats are saying, you know what? You can have the Aurelia.
I think I don't remember who on Wildcat or not Wildcats, but Chocolate Thunder plays Aurelia, but they play Aurelia a lot. And if they have the opportunity, they're taking it. Missing that in the first game, not taking it in the first round. They said, this time we're going to throw down the gauntlet. We're going to take it. But you see Wildcats putting, and I will disagree with you. I think this Ashe Blitzcrank can be just as dominant of a lane because the Ashe really enables Blitz to land hooks and get on top of carries. Even post level 2, you don't have to hit them with a Q from max range. You can just slow them up with the Ashe autos, and then Blitz can run them down, force flashes, force other stuff like that. So if you can't get something that can punish the Blitzcrank for trying to do that, or punish the Ashe for trying to do that, as we
Whoa, the Chocolate Thunder Wildcats team both banning Jax, Pantheon, Rakan, and Morgana. And Chocolate Thunder are starting off their second round picks with a set. So this is looking like an Aurelia mid here.
No, I think that's a set support.
A
I think
set support.
yep, I think that's a set. I think that might be a set support. Um, now I don't know if it's very good into Blitzcrank Ash, specifically into the Ash. The Ash is going to play havoc with the set, but set can definitely carry people out of a fight and into a good engage if they're trying to hop on top of you. We see the Renekton taken from the Wildcats. Edward's going to pilot that. Maybe,
Renekton. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
maybe thinking, oh, and a Yone.
So the Renekton pick as a just in case Aurelia or Set goes top, and Lesbian Set getting her Yone. Whoa, and the Rammus pick in response.
They
Rammus
haven't
wants
locked
to
it in
make
yet.
sure.
Haven't locked it in yet. They're just showing. They
Oh,
really need a big AP threat, but you know,
we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Does the Rammus go through 1 second on the clock? And
no.
no, it is a change to the victor. It could have been a Wukong top, but no, it is a change to the victor. Victor mid set support, like you said, with the Zaya, Aurelia top, and Wukong jungle. Wildcats responding with a Yone mid, Renekton top, Ash Blitzcrank bot, and the very surprising guest appearance by the Shaco. What do we say about this comp here, Doc?
I like everything but the Shaco because the Shaco is just a little out of place. Let's be honest. Um, but and here's the thing about it: anybody can make their picks work, and knowing that Psycho has played quite a bit of Shaco, and that's a pick he likes to play. If you're comfortable playing it into these kind of coordinated 5v5s, you can really have a good impact if you can control their vision and sneak in the sides and stuff like that and make an impact.
I'll give Wildcats the benefit of the doubt that this is a planned comp around the champions that they have. Shaco not really having upfront CC is going to really rely a lot on his teammates for any engages that is needed for him to be able to pull off a successful gank. So uh, I'll say, excuse me, every single lane on the side of Wildcats does provide some form of hard CC one way or the other, Doc.
Hmm. Definitely condition a lot of conditional CC on the side. Well, maybe besides Wukong, not a lot of stuns, a lot of knockups. Some conditional CC from both the set, the Victor, everything like that. The Zaya as well. Um, hmm. I'm
I do
not.
want I do want to say the Chocolate Thunder team sticking to their guns in the form of a skirmishing team fight. The Aurelia, the Set, and the Wukong are going to want to go in with the Victor Nexai just following up from the back line. So traditional back front to back team fights on Chocolate Thunder, but will hopefully it'll be enough to contend with this very out of the box comp from the Wildcats.
Yeah, definitely a lot of disruption and a lot of we're gonna flank, we're gonna attack from the sides. Yone enables that. Ashen gives them, long range engage. And I think if Chocolate Thunder can hang on to the early game and get some scaling going, they can, make it out of lanes without too many deaths, maybe a few kills here and there. I think they have an opportunity to win this game, but I have to give it to Wildcats after the way they played out the early game. Picking scaling once again from Chocolate Thunder side, I think plays right into what Wildcats wants them to do.
I agree. Do we have like you were saying, Chocolate Thunder with the scaling? Wildcats have two picks on their side that is all early games. So if Chocolate Thunder can get into the mid game, without too many losses, they may very well have a chance to pull this out in a victory. And Wildcats are gonna have to fight as hard as they can to get that victory. If they don't make it, if they don't get what they need in the early game. So Doc, I think now's the time we can go lane by lane, kind of discuss in depth about each matchup and see what we can expect. Well, starting off with, of course, the top lane, we have I'll say a very classic matchup, Renekton versus Aurelia. What do you think about this?
I think every Aurelia matchup is a skill matchup. Aurelia has such a high skill ceiling that if you really put the effort into it, you could win just about any matchup. There's not many of them she doesn't have a chance in. Renekton is one of the harder ones because his damage is really easy to get in and out of. But we'll just have to see. Edwards is a strong top laner, and I think I have to give it to the Renekton if he can get an early advantage.
Absolutely, absolutely. Any Aurelia that can do what they call in Twitch world, Aureliaing is a very scary Aurelia indeed, and you must stay away as far away as you can, as much as possible.
Yeah,
Uh,
good Aurelia is very scary. Oof. AD carry
going
nightmares. Panic. Don't
going to
do
the
it.
mid lane, Yone versus the Victor. This is less classic and more of a, I would say, a skill matchup. The Yone could very well get poked out if they don't play appropriately. What do you think, Doc?
I think it's heavily Yone favored. It's it's on the Yone to hit the abilities and stuff like that. Victor for the first 10 minutes with no kills, just farming, is not going to be able to out damage the Yone. I'm a Victor. I'm really a Victor main all of last season. And speaking to one of the other teams, Cheesers, uh, one of their players is a great Yone player, Phony Beaver. Shout outs to him. He really tested me a large amount with that pick, so much so eventually we had to ban it because I couldn't play it into it.
I see. Well, I mean, some lessons you have to learn the hard way, I guess.
Yes.
The bot lane matchup: Ash Blitzcrank versus Xayah set. The set. I know I was talking earlier about the Shaco sticking out like a sore thumb, but the set feels a little out of place here. What do you think, Doc?
I think the set's gonna have a hard time if the Ash and the Blitzcrank can play it out right because, as I mentioned in draft, Ash really disables a lot of what Set wants to do. He wants to run at you. His Q, it gives you a burst of movement speed. He's gonna pull you in with his E, and Blitzen Ash really can put a stop to that. Now I will say the Xayah running at you with W, Q, and E up can do a lot of damage. So we're just gonna have to see everything they can do and what's gonna happen.
Absolutely. And then finally, the I guess the highlight of the game: Shaco versus Wukong. What do we think here, Doc?
We all know that Wukong has way bigger advantages. AOE engage. He's gonna be primarily running around attacking. Shaco is a pest. Shaco is Shaco from as a head is a menace to some of these immobile carries. Victor especially, I look to get attacked a lot early. If he doesn't control his wave well, the Victor is very vulnerable to this kind of stuff. And once you've burnt Flash, you are sitting duck.
Completely understand. The burden of engage, I guess, thankfully, is not on the Shaco, and the other parts of his team does have the opportunity to kind of supplement that with their own engages. But I guess ultimately we can only see. So finally, Doc, who are you trying to give it to here?
I have to give it to Wildcats after last game's performance. I think Chocolate Thunder is going to need some help, or they're going to need to show me something that they can win these kind of fights. You know, they're
Alrighty, Doc. I am all paused up, so you let me know when it's all good to go.
all right. We got this started. All right, and we're just gonna transition directly into as soon as it pops up directly into game number 2. Hold on, don't start it yet. We're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, and we're gonna start this game.
Alrighty, so right now both teams are going on to the Rift. Wildcats already starting their shenanigans, doing a full 5-man top lane, and right now Chocolate Thunder is looking like they're gonna do a 5-point, kind of a 5-point thing here. But of course, they have to have an expectation that if there's a Blitzcrank in the game, that Blitzcrank is gonna be in your jungle somewhere.
Yeah, early wards put down. I don't think are going to be effective. We'll see if they check this initial bush. They're running towards it. Wukong spots them out. He knows now they see the Wukong running away. He knows where they're at. And I don't think there's going to be anything else out of it. They're just going to take over this red side jungle.
Absolutely. Oh, it's looking like the Wildcats are choosing not to steal the red camp for the Shaco. However, the Shaco, all he needs to do is take one camp and transition across vertically into the other side. So this does leave Chocolate Thunder an opportunity to ward up the Wildcats blue red side. So they're gonna have a lot of information. Oh, there's even a pink there. There's gonna be a lot of permanent information there as long as that pink is up, Doc. Uh, so far, not a lot of action at the beginning here, huh?
Yeah, no, just a lot of posturing and a lot of seeing what's going on. I think they actually aren't going to know what Shaco's up to, depending on that ward at Raptors, depending on what it does. They might not even know where Shaco went if he chooses to go, say, up top after his first camp. As we see, I'm just looking at the mini map. You see an immediate reset from the Shaco after taking his first camp. He did not buy a jungle buddy.
Huh? Is that a fact? Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully he caught that early. Thankfully he caught that early, so you won't be missing out too much on that.
I think I might be a little bit disappointed in myself the fact that I didn't see that either. So I was so focused on the vision. Just pat on the back to casters for not noticing that we're missing some items. You know, happens to the best of us. Ooh.
Oh, and Ignite gets dropped onto the Renekton. Does the Renekton walk out? Yes, he does, barely with his life, but the Aurelia gets a little scared, thinking she might have to go down and flashes. So no sums up on the Aurelia, and the Renekton gets to keep his Ignite. The bot lane are already doing their crazy thing, manages to get the set. The set has to flash. The Ignite does not take out the set, and the set does live, but barely. And like you said, ADC and the Blitzcrank combo here are doing amazing things right here. You know, the Ashe sets up the Blitzcrank, and the Blitzcrank does his own thing.
Ooh, first
and
blood.
Aurelia gets the first blood. Renekton unfortunately losing his flash. This is probably where she was. Oh, whoa! A humongous pull from the Blitzcrank right into the set. The set thought he was safe, but the game gave Blitzcrank a couple extra inches for that grab, and a second blood goes down to the Blitzcrank. Wow.
Yeah, it just goes to show that a couple extra inches really does make the difference. Wink, wink, wink. No, just reaching out and touching him with the very tip of that hook. Big props to Scotty D. Has showed a lot of promise on this pick earlier on. Definitely has been one of his most banned, and you know, allowing him to have it here in game 2 means he's going to have a huge effect on this bot lane. And we'll have to see what they can do. As I said, gonna be punished by the Ashe. Can't run away from that. He does not have abilities to run away. The fighter doesn't run, he fights.
And we have here the top laners going into a duke with the jungler from the Chocolate Thunder side going in. Does he go down? Unfortunately, he does. Aurelia doing Aurelia things, just queuing around, and whoa, a set gets grabbed up again. Not respecting that distance. The jungler is there. Will the Shackle and the Ashe get him down? No. Another missed attempt. This might be an opportunity to get another couple inches off with the Blitzcrank, but right now the Chocolate Thunder bot lane are being pressured. Whoa, a flash knock up in the pool onto the Xayah, but the Xayah does have flash and heal, but she has to use both to get out. Scotty Too Hottie just making it burn up in this bot lane with his signature pulls or bindings with the Morgana. I don't think he's missed a crucial hook quite yet. He does it again. Scotty, stop! Scotty, stop!
Scotty,
but will he go down? No. Xayah goes down, almost a kill. 3 pulls in a row for Scotty D.
Oh no, he ain't Scotty D no more. He's Scotty Too Hottie, as you said, hitting every hook so far. Neria missed 100% rate of hit. Definitely gonna be punishing this lane very hard. Now he's in their head too. Ooh,
Exactly. Unfortunately, it's looking like it's going to be a game of time bombs. Who can explode first, faster, and harder? The Aurelia or the 80 or the ADC support combo on the side of Wildcats? Because right now, giving over this Aurelia to the Chocolate Thunder side may have been a mistake. So far, Aurelia is 2-0, 47 CS in 6 minutes over the Renekton's, Doc.
definitely a different type of top lane as AD Elise really show up. Scotty too hotty, here he comes.
Scotty
The
with a
knockouts
knockup, with
being sealed.
the overlaying ult with excuse me from the Yone, ignite gets dropped onto the victor from the my goodness, I can't even get my words together, from Scotty, but he manages to live. Wukong does respond to hold the mid lane. That was a very good and crucial roam from Scotty to make sure that their mid laner does not get pressured as Edwards reformed is in the top lane. So far, like I said, this is absolutely who can get there faster type of game, Doc.
Yeah, I think it might have been a slight miscommunication there from the pull from Scotty. Does keep that 100% hit rate on the pulls, but Yon, I think, having used his Fate Unsealed, his ultimate, really wanted to just keep wailing damage into that Victor before they pulled, and the pull sort of brought him away from it. Might have saved the Victor's life just a little bit, but we can forgive him because he's hit the hook.
Absolutely. I mean, ultimately, the victor does have to go back, and this is now transitioning into a dragon take for the Wildcats team. And right now, Earthdrake does go down for the Shaco. Now, so far, the Shaco is just doing Shaco things, but it's not, quote unquote, air quotes, doing Shaco things. What do we think about that, Doc?
He really hasn't had much of an impact so far yet. Just showing up here and there, being here a little bit, but not really gaining any significant advantage. We see him sort of counter jungling right now on the bot side. It's a little bit of a split map, as maybe Chocolate Thunder's considering either starting the Herald or diving top. I think it's just going to be a Herald start from the looks of things, but
Gotti getting another hook with an Ashe ult. Thankfully, the Xayah does have her ult. The Ashe is between a rock and a hard place. Exhaust goes on to the Ashe. The Ashe tries to flash to get the kill, misses the kill. It has to heal. The set is now chasing down the Ashe. Will the Ashe live? Barely. Flash from the set. Finally gets the kill onto the Ashe.
Gets the stun and gets the kill.
Scotty Too Hottie goes down. A double kill from the set. The set showing us up here, letting us know that it doesn't matter what you do to him, he will succeed.
Take my words back. Okami Yen really making those big plays, exhausting at the perfect time. Stopping the Xayah from going down, getting the save. Shaco's doing Shaco things. Aurelia doesn't seem to care.
Getting caught out from the Shaco. The Shaco is doing his best to try to make her hit him in the clone. The clone does do a lot of damage. A flash from the Aurelia. Can he do it? Oh, the Aurelia is doing Aurelia things and manages to get out and exhaust. No, the Shaco goes down. The Banana King is going in, but oh my goodness, a roaming support is on the way, and we have a flash and an ult from the Yone. The Yone manages to take down the Wukong. The Renekton does chase the Renekton. Can the Blitz get a hook? No, unfortunately, the Blitz has to back off. The Victor is safe for another day, but crucial roams from the Wukong and the mid laner, taking the flash and ignite from Aurelia.
I think disrespecting the Shaco there. AP Shaco, and bets on me, AP Shaco, by the way. just to point that out, made Shaco gonna have his wizard mask on today. It does appear he's going for the Leandries. I don't know how much you know about that, but that Shaco is significantly more annoying for the squishies. AD Shaco's a menace to ADCs, but the AP Shaco definitely going to be a menace in his own right.
Absolutely, I will tip my hat to you, sir. It's looking like Psycho Ghost did opt to go the AP Shaco route, probably knowing full well that in a game full of squishies, you definitely want that option to blow them up. Right now, a very big skirmish between Victor and the Yone mid. Whoa! Aurelia, what are we doing? And Execute probably planned that to get
Fast
a
back.
a very fast back.
Fast back.
And
Fast pass.
we
This is the fast pass. Oh,
Yo, another pull from Scotty to Hottie. Gets a pull onto the set. We have the Shackle following up with
Echo
his
clone.
ult.
Can't run.
And the clones get him
Flash
down. The
knockup, Scotty.
Daya and the Wukong try to get out, but can they? The Wukong slows them. Excuse me, the Wukong is slowed from the Shackle. But unfortunately, this is not turning out the way that they want to. Did they drop the Herald? They did. They managed to get the Herald before it took down the turret. And now we have, whoa, the Wukong trying his best to go in. Does he get something out of it? No, a knockup from the Blitzcrank. Will he get it? Yes, he gets the kill onto the Blitzcrank in exchange for his life. Jesus, Doc, I don't know if that was optimal here, but probably was, as it stopped the Wildcats side from taking any plates from the turret.
Never sure if you're giving your life away is a better thing, but we're definitely seeing more life out of Chocolate Thunder in this early game. You know, not giving up the huge advantages, really making plays around the map. Aurelia, that, you know, the fastback, maybe it's optimal. I don't know. I don't know Aurelia well enough to know what's optimal on that. But, you know, we see just more life is a good thing to see from them, you know, more fight in them. Aurelia dancing around the battlefield.
Whoa, the Yone goes in on the ult. Fate sealed. Oh my goodness. The Victor health goes all the way down to about 30 to 40% there. The Yone just giving no quarter to the Victor at all. The Victor has to play way back. The Yone with a astounding 50 CS over the opponent there. And the Aurelia doing Aurelia things. The Renekton just has to play back.
Yeah,
My goodness.
Bully match on top, bully match in mid. As you see, as I said, the Victor really can get punished if the Yone gets ahead. And you know, he's got his Victor has his second E. Oh, gonna get hit though. Good stopwatch in the Chaos Storm.
Goes back, and the stopwatch does allow him to live. The Yone is getting caught up from the Wukong, but the Wukong is not able to turn that into a kill. And now we have the bot lane turning on each other. Shaco finishes the dragon. Another pull from Sky to Hottie, but unfortunately the Blitzcrank has to go down. The clone is still, the Shaco clone does allow Shaco to live since they can't tell who's who. And the Ash takes one and flashes and takes the other, with the Yone on the other side of the river taking out the Victor. The Wukong has not given up yet. He's trying to take him out. Whoa! AP Shaco with the explosive nuclear shanks does manage to take out the Wukong.
Explosive nuclear shanks. I like the description of that. AP Shaco does throwing daggers with nukes.
And unfortunately, on the top side, Renekton unfortunately opted to blow his ult in case the Aurelia decided to do Aurelia things, manages to survive, but has to go back. The set flashes onto the Ash, but does not anticipate the Blitzcrank to be there.
He has Showstopper though.
Uses his exhaust to throw down the Ash, but the Ash is doing her best to kite, but the set is just too much. Whoa, Scotty manages to pull onto the set, but I don't know if that's what he wanted to do. Does he get out? He does. The Wukong showing face on the bot side with the Shaco and the wings. Doc, hopefully, whoa!
Leandri's burn, not gonna be enough, but Shaco's sticking around. He wants a little bit of it.
Chocolate Thunder team pinging onto the set, like, what the hell was that damage? That's quite funny.
Much better. And Aurelia really showing that she can punish this lane heavily, but Yona's doing the same thing in the mid lane to Victor. The advantage, I think, really for Chocolate Thunder is that Victor will scale better than the Renekton. A Renekton from behind is a pair of leather boots for his team.
Whoa! Another ult from the Ash, and Scotty gets another pull. This bot lane is oppressive. Aurelia getting caught out from the Yone ult. I did not anticipate the Yone to show face in the top lane again until maybe later in the game, but the Yone made a crucial and pivotal roam onto the Aurelia to take a crucial summoner. And now, thankfully, I guess in the side of Wildcats, Renekton does get some reprieve, and this transitioning into a an objective take from Wildcats. And so far, I have not been able to stop talking because these two teams have not stopped fighting in the last couple of minutes. Doc, save me.
Save you I shall, my son. Yeah, we see again, light game one, lots of fighting going on. Shaco here coming in, backstabbing the Victor, flashes into the box. It's tragic. Psycho Ghost showing that Victor, that Shaco is a menace, attacking the Victor on all sides. Another box up top. Aurelia is gonna cue that, annoyed by it. But this Victor is really feeling life right now, as the Rift Herald's gonna go down in mid lane. At the very least, gonna get this tower. Not gonna be able to do it for the charge. Aurelia looks like Aurelia. Flash from Yone.
That is crazy. Those shackle boxes are gonna end up being just like Teemo mushrooms. You're gonna hate to walk into any bush whatsoever in this game. Now that the shackle is ahead. Like right there.
More Shaco bushes littered around the map. Both of them providing vision and providing an annoyance to the enemy team as they move around their own jungle. Everybody's got to take sweepers. I think we see 2 sweepers on Chocolate Thunder. I'm probably going to need more as we start to prepare for third dragon. It's going to be up in just under a minute. And looks like Just Me Juice is on top side, not transitioning himself down to bot side. Scotty D coming in here to attack the Xayah, forced to burn her Featherstorm. And Ash
they do pull. Wow. This is amazing. The bot laners are not stopping with the pulls. The Ash drops the ult, but does she get out? No, the Victor burn matches takes out the Ash.
Aurelia taking tower shots, gonna get the Q on it though. Tower shot gonna claim her.
And that is a double KO on the side of on the top side with the dragon coming up in 15 seconds. Doc, this is absolutely bananas. And we have the monkey stop trying to fool the Yone into thinking that he cloned, but the Yone does not care. Yone is just taking him out, does with the ghost, and fate sealed right onto the Victor. The Victor trying to drop the W in the ult, but the Yone does not care. The Yone takes out 2 ult and gives him the AOK sign from Lesbian Said. I appreciate you taking over there. I was dying. Thank you, Doc.
Glad I could save your voice here for a minute. Set losing over half his HP to boxes in the bottom side jungle. Blitz was looking for a pull, but I think they're just going to take this Drake. Third Drake coming up, and doesn't look like Chocolate Thunder's going to be able to get here in time. They might, though. They're walking down. No, they're just not even going to contest it.
Absolutely not. The Wildcats team. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I don't know if they just. I was going to ask. I don't know. Do you think they just feel scared because of last game and how some of those dragon fights went?
No, I think what Victor is seeing right there is probably the reason why they're not walking into the jungle. Blitzcrank pulling his target yet again. The Shaco box is being a menace to society there.
Wukong forced to play or not play for Trickster. What is the Wukong W called?
Clone. I think it's either decoy or clone.
It's called Warrior Trickster.
Okay, got it.
That's what it's called. He was forced to Trickster over the wall. I wanted to call it Playful Trickster, but I think that's a Dota thing. They have a character in that game called Monkey King, and I think his W, which is essentially something similar, is called that.
We do have Aurelia from the has forces out Gale Force from the Xayah. As I was saying,
just some you could see the fear there with that Gale Force. Now, I'm not sure how much danger she was actually in, but just the fear that it's the Shaco. He's invisible. He's behind me. When you see the Yone next to you, and you're just like, I have to jump out.
Yes, we did have a Smumpet and Scotty D just terrorizing the bot lane, and the entirety of Chocolate Thunder was going to transition over,
Oh my
but with the
goodness.
Shaco and the Yone hovering around, I don't think they wanted to go in. My goodness, the Yone and the Shaco going onto their Aurelia, will they be able to get some sort of shutdown on
Flash.
her? The Aurelia was trying to flash out, and no, she does not. She flashes right into a trap, and Shaco does get this kill, manages to take a flash off the Aurelia. I think if they continue this, the Aurelia, whoa, another Blitzcrank could. Scotty Too Hottie just does not miss Bovine.
Yep, no missing allowed this game. Scotty coming out on his signature Blitzcrank,
We
showing.
might have to put a counter in the corner here.
I think we might have to put a counter up. I think we're at 100% right now. I haven't seen him miss one. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened, but Scotty Too Hottie, I believe in him. I don't think he's gonna miss a single hook this game.
Absolutely not. To continue our train of thought, we were saying before, Aurelia's lead might be balancing out now that the Yone and the Shaka flash
again.
from the set. The set tries to go on to the Ash, but the set has forgotten that he is a support and not top lane set. So he races his flash and exhaust, and now is getting run down by the Ash, but the Ash gets pushed back from the Xayah, and the Yone just does not care. Straight diving Wukong, the shield bow getting procced. The Wukong
Ooh,
flashing
Fate
and
Seal.
ulting onto the Yone, but the Yone manages to turn that around with a Fate Seal W and a Mortal Steel. And down goes the Wukong. My goodness, the Chocolate Thunder team are trying their hardest. They are fighting back, especially now that the top laner has his signature champion. He's just chasing down the Aurelia.
Oh, there's a
And at the
Shaco.
same
Gale
time,
force
the
into it.
Shaco and to the Ash, it's the Shaco and the Ash chasing down the Xayah, but the Xayah is not able to get out. Whoa, the Yone almost doing fancy feet stuff, but
Scotty D with the hook.
unfortunately, Aurelia goes
Ignite
down
burns
with
him
the
down.
Ignite. Scotty Too Hottie just blowing people up. And mid lane goes down for the side of Chocolate Thunder. 23 minutes in, this is a 34 kill game. Currently, Wildcats 10k over Chocolate Thunder, but it really doesn't feel that way. To be honest with the game, the way the game's going now, it could honestly go either way, but Wildcats straight in the driver's seat, Doc.
Yep, definitely. They've been able to balloon a small lead. Chocolate Thunder is definitely gave them a real run for their money in the early game, but they've just been able to find small advantages. Advantage in the bot lane, advantage in the mid lane that started small. They were handling it well, and just now they've ballooned them so far ahead that it's 3 items on Ash. We see looking at the gold. Oh my god, there is a 5,000 gold lead on Ash to Xayah, and that's looking very devastating. This is turning Ash from, with the build he's got, from a sort of utility person into a, we are a hyper carry now. We have the damage. Adding in that Bork and that Rage Blade.
Absolutely, just burning people alive, just running them down. Yeah, really goes on to the Renekton, but the camera here is going back and forth. Ash manages to take the save to turn a little bit and walk out, but whoa, the Renekton finally getting his first kill on the
Showstopper.
map, taking out the Aurelia. The set has not stopped his hunt for Ash. Ash has to flash and heal out. The set just show-stopping Ash, but Ash manages to live with 30% health. This set is hunting for the Ash, Doc.
Okami Yen, after that big double kill he got early, feels like he has to make these plays, and he's doing his best to make these plays, but it's just they're falling a little bit farther behind every time. They're unsuccessful, and now with the Dragon Soul on their side and as a Hex Tech, I don't think they're ever going to be able to get to this Ash. The utility she provides with the slows plus the Hex Tech procs on the Drake Soul are going to slow you down so much that it's going to be impossible to run into this team. It's already incredibly hard to run into a Blitzcrank and a Shaco and an Ash. And now it's one of those things that's just become increasingly more difficult as time goes on.
Absolutely. Right now,
Crab
the
Brave.
the Wildcats team are Ash barely missing the ult. The Shackle just speed running towards the Victor. Victor forced the flash to get out of that. He did not want what was coming up after that nuclear shiv there. The Wildcats just making this Chocolate Thunder jungle their own. And currently, with the way that the Shackle's playing, uh, all these traps there, they are just scoping him out right now. Will he be able to get out? The Wukong dashes
Echo
onto
box.
the Shaco and ults him up, but the box manages to get him off. Will they be able to save him? The Yone does go over the wall.
Fate
Whoa,
sealed
Fate
two.
seals right on top of two. The Victor goes down. Will the set go down too? It is the Renekton chasing them down. The set drops the exhaust onto the Renekton, but the Renekton does not care. Oh, our
Oh
first miss
no.
from Scotty Too Hottie.
Now
This is quite
Scotty.
unfortunate. But the Renekton goes over the wall. Aurelia and the Xayah are trying to fight the Renekton, but the Renekton is trying to kill the Xayah. The Xayah manages to flash out, but the Aurelia will finally finish the Renekton. This is unfortunate. The Aurelia does do Aurelia things, dropping her ult on top, but the Shaco clones and it goes invisible, and both the clone and the Shaco manages to take down the Aurelia with the rest of the team. And right now, this might be looking like the end, Doc.
GG push.
Pull.
Oof.
A pull from the Blitzcrank. The Xayah did not expect that goes down immediately. The Ash is not stopping. Does not care if there's a Chaos Storm on top of her, and annihilates the Victor right on top.
Yeah, I think this might be the GG push coming in. 27 minutes now. Ash putting damage into these turrets. And
Absolutely. They have 15 seconds until the ready comes up, but can Chocolate Thunder hold? Both turrets go down. The
Have to
minion,
do something.
the Baron Up minion is going in. The Wukong doing the flash ult on top of the Ash managed to take him down. Can he take down the next person? No, goes right on top of the
Echo
trap.
box.
The Yone is coming right from behind and manages to take down the Wukong, but the Aurelia is back up and now is fighting the team. Can they stop? Can the Aurelia end the set? Stop this? We'll see. The Yone manages to get the Aurelia really low and manages to walk away, but the set is trying to take out the team, but the Yone comes from behind once more and takes out the set, and the Yone is just going mad crazy, takes out one and
my
takes out two.
God.
The Aurelia is the sole survivor on the side of Chocolate Thunder. Can Aurelia save the team, or will Wildcats play with their food? The Shaco manages to go golden and live, and finally the Nexus goes down, Doc.
Yep, Nexus down. We see as Wildcats gonna finish this game off 2-0 fashion. There at the end, Lesbian Zed just going crazy on the Yone, killing everyone. I think she might have killed a couple people on repeat after killing him the first time. Oof.
This is absolutely bonkers of a game. The early game was very tumultuous, Doc, and wow, looking at the damage charts absolutely reflects what we just saw. The Yone and the Ash mowing people down towards the mid to late game. Like you said, scaling won this game, and I guess it has to do with the very rigid early game that the Wildcats showed us.
Yeah, we got to see a lot of. And I did say that there was going to be more scaling needed from Chocolate Thunder, but uh, the advantages that Wildcats gets in the mid game there really allowed them to take over and end the game when they did. But I really want to congratulate Chocolate Thunder. They made that early game a fight. They said took all of what they had from game one, and that's a hard loss, and they blew it off and said, "Hey, we are going to fight you level one and in the early game, and we're not going to be afraid of losing this game." They really showed that they could win some of these games with some more time. I'm not sure how much time these people have played together, how much time these players have had together, but they really showed that they can take a loss and come back and punch back and give them an attempt. So congratulations, Chocolate Thunder. Even though it's a loss today, it was a great series to cast and a great series to watch. Congratulations to Wildcats for winning the series, for being able to edge out these games.
Absolutely. Shall we get I guess a Wildcat player in here to kind of interview them here?
Might have to see. I think quite a few of them have left? Might just
Scotty D is here. Maybe we can grab the MVP of the game here.
see if we can grab Scotty Too Hottie or Edwards 1 and 2. I know Edwards is the captain. We don't really have an MVP vote on this channel yet, but we can pull one or the other in, see who we want to pull. Just pull both of them.
Absolutely.
Give us just a moment, everyone. This will be this was the last game of the regular season playoffs. I believe will start next week. I believe the standings put us as having, what is it? I think it will be Wildcats will face off against Argonauts, and I believe it'll be Cheesers up against Mass.
I can definitely see the Wildcats team and the Argonauts team. Oh,
there we
I
go.
think we
Hello.
managed to get the person here.
Scotty Too Hottie. That's your new nickname from now on.
Love it.
100% hook rate until you miss one right there at the end. It's a shame. You should have hit 100 of them.
I know.
Shame on you. But how does it feel to close out the season in this kind of way, with a good 2-0, really, transitioning into playoffs?
Feels really good. Bit of a what do I say? Confidence boost going into it. We had a shakeup in our roster just recently. Sneck is no longer on our team, so there was some adjustment period for myself and Smuppet. We just got started doing some duos earlier this week. That's a bit of an opportunity to try and play together, and I think we started to gel together by the end of today's games.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask. What does it feel like? What do the differences feel like playing with Smuppet versus Sneck?
Well, I'm a very aggressive laner always, and I think Sneck matches my aggression a little bit. However, I think Smuppet makes me play smarter because he doesn't want to always go 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 go. Which I think ends up probably better for my KDA and maybe for the team overall.
I mean, to see the second game that you and Smuppy played in the bot lane, to kind of say you have a very unique style. Because it doesn't matter what champ you play, somehow, some way, your engage is about a screen and a half away. Whether it's Blitzcrank, or Morgana in this case, you're just hitting all of those bindings or hooks. So to ask the question, how is it that you're able to get almost 100% binding or hook rate here in these games, Scotty?
So I think part of it, not to discredit any of the abilities of the opponents we just played, but I figured out pretty early in the Morgana game their support dodges almost the same way every time. So it just made, I think if you looked at my early Roots game 1, I think I missed my first 4 just throwing out some testers, and then I went, oh no, it's that way every time. And then it just became like clockwork, I guess, at that point, because I knew where I had to aim because that's where they'd go.
Look at this, the maniacal genius revealing his secrets, just studying his prey before he takes them down one at a time. Scotty, quite a performance you did with your partner Smuppet there.
Thank you. Yeah, he did wonderful. Like I said, when we first did our first couple test games earlier this week, I think we were both a little tentative, being like, "Oh, I don't want that person to think I'm not very good if I make mistakes." So we were playing on eggshells, I think, the first 2 games, and then once we got into it, it felt good.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything to say to the rest of your teammates, before we transition into playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely. So keep up the great work, you guys. I mean, we've got Ghost just killing it in the jungle there. I can't even believe Shaco gameplay. Did you see those box placements? People flashing into the boxes. He was playing 4D chess over there. And yeah, our lesbian Zed, she was just crushing it. She had a killer Yoni game, and by the end, I think was 1v3ing while I was just hanging out behind her while enemies were coming from the fountain. So really great game. And Ed, as always, our fearless leader over there. He had a rough game too. That Aurelia gave him a bit of a run for his money, but it was good to see the Aurelia gameplay come online in the early game there. It was nice.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Any final thoughts from you, Quetz? Any final things to say for our Scotty Too Hottie here?
Yeah, Scotty, I I hope to see the same performance that we've seen today up here in the playoffs coming up. You know, the Wildcats legacy getting carried forward. Hopefully, you guys can show us a good performance like you did today with every other game, because you guys, I'm sure you know, there's two teams ahead of you in the rankings now.
Yeah.
So a lot to study up on, to look forward to. Is there any teams that you are kind of keeping your guys' eyes on?
What I will say is that when we had to play against the I think it was TPO Argonauts.
It's Argonauts.
Yeah, they were they were a tough matchup for us. We had a bit of a heartbreaker loss against them, and I think if we bring our A game, I think we can make it a series that goes either way. If we're not on our game, on our A game that day, those are some tough competitors. So I think that's the goal that I'd like to try and overcome there, is see if we can bring those guys down.
Definitely looking forward to the challenge. You're gonna have to bring your A game against us.
Yeah.
Even then, it might not be enough for you guys. Sorry, just a little bit of competitive fire in me. I like hearing those things because it's all of my competitive juices going. I'm ready. I'm ready for playoffs next week, as we will be playing you. I believe the games will be TPO Mass versus Cheezer's repeat of the games this week,
Yeah.
and Argonauts versus Wildcats. I believe everybody is locked in their positions this week,
Whew.
and you going
Looking
down.
forward to it, Bovine Basher.
Looking forward to it, Scotty Too Hottie.
That's it for me.
I don't know that you're gonna get the Blitzcrank. Just a fair warning.
What? Thanks, you guys. Have a great day.
Yep.
All right, Scotty.
All right. This will be the end of the final game of the regular season for us tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming out and watching. Everybody who's watched all of the regular season and everything. Please come up, show up for the playoffs. Show out for your favorite teams, favorite players, all your friends, family. Invite them all to watch. Thank you, Quetz, for coming to cast, and I look forward to seeing and casting you in the playoffs coming up as well.
I'm very eager to see everyone in the playoffs. Before we sign off, just a quick shout out to Wolfie. Hi, Wolfie. I see you in the chat. But yeah, very excited with the way these games have been going so far. I can imagine that I'm gonna have to practice drinking a lot of water, making sure I'm very hydrated to stay up on all these crazy skirmishes going throughout all these games.
All right. And I think that is where we will end it for tonight. That'll be signing out from TPO Esports. And look forward to the next few weeks of playoffs, and have a good night, everyone.
See you then.
Good night.
Yeah.